Welcome to another 5-Minute Monday lesson review. And the student this week is the same student as the last week. But I thought it'd be really interesting to look at how the player is improved with their movement as a consequence of the drill that we advised them to work at in the last session, which, if you recall, was a one-handed drill with the left hand, really trying to give that player some appreciation for how the backswing sequencing works and how we can gain much more control if we stabilise the left hand and the left arm in the backswing. So, image on the right-hand side here, this is going back a few sessions now, but if we just have a little look at what we were looking at and why we were suggesting the drill. Pretty good first movement away from the golf ball. Player loads the club pretty good to this point. But as we continue back in the backswing, you'll see here that the leverage or the angle, the hinge, as most people refer to it there in the backswing, starts to get a bit excessive. And as we get to the top of the backswing here, you'll notice that the club shaft obviously has gone quite long in the backswing, behind the head. The wrist, or the angle between the wrist and the forearm now, is starting to almost go beyond range, and we can identify with that by the fact that the player has actually started to let go of the club. Can you see there how the right hand has actually disengaged from the club shaft, causing a bit of a gap there? So in essence, this player is really swinging it with sort of one hand at this point. But of course, re-gripping the club and sort of trying to coordinate that movement on the way down is going to be quite difficult. But really there, as I said, we can see that angle between the hand and the left arm and the club shaft there all starting to get quite narrow and quite difficult at that point. In contrast, after a couple of weeks of working at the drill in question, we see here this player now starts to, with both hands on the club, really begin to appreciate the backswing movement. So again, really good body shape in the backswing, a much later sort of hinge or load, but the top of the backswing now is sort of there. You can see the club starts to work back the other way, so around about here. And if we just now zoom in, you can see there how the right hand of the player stays engaged on the club shaft, the pressure applied still to the glove thumb, the angle there quite clearly. If I just zoom in a little bit closer, we'll just ditch the lines there, but we can see that the angle between the wrist and the left arm and then the club shaft is a much cleaner position. Haven't got that change in direction through that left wrist there. And as a consequence of this change, and the reason we're really looking at this is that the player maintains a lot more width in the backswing, so a lot more space between sort of the club shaft and the head there. We can quite clearly see it. But the real benefit in this is because we're trying to improve the player's impact position. So on the right-hand side, with a lot of hinge or a lot of leverage, even though the initial transition with the body looks pretty good at this point, that player now has a lot of recovery. So as the club starts down, you'll notice the right hand really starts to sort of throw the club head through impact, really trying to sort of sling the club through impact. And you'll see there that the left wrist and the left arm begins to break down quite a lot. So not only technically might this cause some big problems, but also there's a high risk of sort of injury where those sort of joints are going beyond range under a lot of force and a lot of stress. When we have a little look, even though we're not talking about the downswing in this instance, you'll notice here that actually good again with the body move, but actually a lot less necessity for that right wrist to start getting involved, and we're starting to see a little bit of a better impact position. As we generate more rotation, we're going to get to a point with this player where that left side will stay a lot stronger through impact. So again, really stressing the importance of how drills, the right sort of drills, can really help you develop the right sort of appreciation for movement. So again, I hope you found the lesson review interesting and informative. And again, if you are interested in your own movement pattern and own golf swing, a bit of a review on how you might move or drills that might work, then please take advantage of our free assessment session by clicking on the link in the email. And until next time, we look forward to seeing you for the next 5-Minute Monday lesson review.